Okay, I'm live. Just a second. There it goes. Okay, my phone just fell over. Set that back up. There we go. Okay, so today is day 42 of the plan. I'll be reading Deuteronomy chapter 10 through 13. My bookmark's out, so it might take a second. Okay, so starting out in chapter 10, the covenant renewed. Let's get started. Oh, wait, I need to turn off the real quick. Sorry about that. Let's try to go fast. Okay. Guess I was waiting to see my dad join. Okay. So, chapter 10, and it says someone's joining, so I'm assuming it's my dad. So let's get started. The Lord said to me at that time, cut 2 stone tablets like the first ones and come to me on the mountain and make a wooden ark. I'll write the tablets on the words that your first tablets you broke, and you are to place them in the ark. So I made an ark of acacia wood, cut 2 stone tablets like the first ones, and climbed the mountain with 2 tablets in my hand. Then on the day of the assembly, the Lord wrote on the tablets that what had been written on previously, the 10 commandments that he had spoken to you on the mountain from the fire. The Lord gave to me. Then I went back down the mountain and placed the tablets in the ark I had made, and they have remained there as the Lord commanded me. The Israelites traveled from Baroth Jacan to Mazerah. Aaron died and was buried there, and Eleazar his son became priest in his place. They traveled from there to Gouda, and from Gouda to Jabbatha, a land flowing with streams. At that time, the Lord set apart a tribe of Levi to carry the ark from the Lord's covenant, to stand before the Lord to serve him, and to pronounce blessings in his name, as it is today. For this reason, Levi does not have a portion or inheritance like his brothers. The Lord is his inheritance, as the Lord your God told him. I stayed on the mountain 40 days and 40 nights like the first time. The Lord also listened to me on this occasion. He agreed not to annihilate you. Then the Lord said to me, get up, continue your journey ahead of the people, so that they may enter and possess the land I swore to give to their fathers. But God requires. And now, Israel, what does the Lord your God ask of you except to fear the Lord your God by walking in all his ways, to love and to worship all the Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul? Keep the Lord's commands and statutes I'm giving you today, for your own good. The heavens, indeed, highest heavens, belong to the Lord your God, and does the earth and everything in it. Yet the Lord has his heart set on your fathers and loved them. He chose their descendants after them. He chose you out of all of the peoples, as it is today. Therefore, circumcise your hearts and don't be stiff-necked any longer. For the Lord your God is the God of gods and the Lord of lords, the great, mighty, and all-inspiring God, showing no partiality, taking no bribe. He executes justice for the fatherless and the widow, and loves the resident alien, giving him food and clothing. You're also to love the resident alien, since you were resident aliens in the land of Egypt. You're to fear the Lord your God and worship him. Remain faithful to him and take oaths in his name. He is your praise and he is your God, who has done for you these great awe-inspiring works your eyes have seen. Your fathers went down to Egypt, 70 people in all, and now the Lord your God has made you numerous like the stars of the sky. Chapter 11. Remember and obey. Therefore, love the Lord your God, and always keep his mandate and statutes, ordinances, and commands. Understand today that it is not your children who experienced or saw the discipline of the Lord your God. His greatness, strong hand, and outstretched arm, his signs and the works he did in Egypt to Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and all his land, what he did to Egypt's armies, his horses, and chariots. When he made the water of the Red Sea flow over them as they pursued you, and he destroyed them completely. What he did to you in the wilderness until you reached this place, and what he did to Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab the Reubenite. When in the middle of the whole Israelite camp, the earth opened its mouth and swallowed them, their households and their tents, and every living thing with them. Your own eyes have seen every great work the Lord has done. Keep every command I'm giving you today, so that you may have the strength to cross into it and possess the land you are to inherit, and so that you may live long in the land the Lord swore to your fathers to give them and their descendants, a land flowing with milk and honey. For the land you are entering to possess is not like the land from Egypt, from which you have come, from where you sowed your seed and irrigated by hand, as in a vegetable garden. But the land you are entering to possess is a land from mountains and valleys, watered by rain from the sky, which is a land where the Lord your God cares for. He is always watching over it from the beginning to the end of the year. If you carefully obey my commands I'm giving you today, to love the Lord your God and worship him with all your heart and all your soul, I'll provide rain for your land in proper time, the autumn and spring rains, and you will harvest your grain, new wine, and fresh oil. I'll provide grass in your fields for your livestock. You'll eat and be satisfied. Be careful that you're not enticed to turn aside, serve and bow and worship to other gods. Then the Lord's anger will burn against you. He will shut the sky, and there will be no rain. The land will not yield its produce, and you will perish quickly from the good land the Lord's giving you. Imprint these on the words of mine on your hearts and minds. Bind them as a sign for your hands, and let them be a symbol on your foreheads. Teach them to your children, talking about them when you sit in your house and when you walk on the road, when you lie down, when you get up. Write these on the doorposts of your house and on your city gates, so that as long as the heavens are above the earth, your days and those of your children will be many in the land of the Lord, sort of to give your fathers. For if you carefully observe every one of these commands I'm giving you to follow, to love your Lord your God, walk in all his ways, and remain faithful to him, the Lord will drive out all the nations before you, and you will drive out the nations greater and stronger than you are. Every place the sole of your foot treads will be yours. Your territory will extend from the wilderness of Lebanon and from the Euphrates River to the Mediterranean Sea. No one will be able to stand against you. The Lord your God will put fear and dread of you in the land where you set foot, as he promised you. A blessing and a curse. Look, today I set before you a blessing and a curse. There will be a blessing if you obey the commands of the Lord your God I am giving you today, and a curse if you do not obey the commands of the Lord your God, and turn aside from the path I commanded you today, by following other gods you have not known. When the Lord your God brings you into the land you are entering to possess, you will proclaim the blessing at Mount Gerizim, and the curse at Mount Ebal. Aren't these mountains across the Jordan beyond the wilderness from the land of the Canaanites, who live in the Arabah opposite Gilgal near the oaks of Moreh? For you are about to cross the Jordan to enter and take possession of the land the Lord your God is giving you. When you possess and settle in it, be careful to follow the statutes and ordinances I set before you today. Chapter 12. This is halfway through now. The chosen place of worship. Be careful to follow these statutes and ordinances in the land that the Lord, the God of your fathers, has given you to possess, all the days you live on the earth. Destroy completely the places where the nations say you're driving out worship their gods. On the high mountains, on the hills, and under the evergreen tree, tear down their altars, smash their sacred pillars, burn their Asherah poles, cut down the carved images of their gods, and wipe out their names from every place. Don't worship the Lord your God in this way. Instead, turn to the place the Lord your God chooses from all your tribes to put his name for his dwelling and go there. But to bring your burnt offerings and sacrifices, your tenths and personal contributions, your vow offerings and the freewill offerings, and the firstborn of your herds and flocks. You'll eat there in the presence of the Lord your God, and rejoice with your household in everything you do, because the Lord your God has blessed you. You're not to do as we are doing here today. Everyone is doing whatever seems right in his own sight. Indeed, you have not yet come to the resting place of the inheritance the Lord your God is giving you. When you cross the Jordan and live in the land the Lord your God is giving you to inherit, and he gives you the rest from the enemies around you and lives in security, then the Lord your God will choose the place to have his name dwell. Bring there everything I command you, your burnt offerings, sacrifices, offerings, and the 10th personal contributions, and your choice of offerings to vow to the Lord. You will rejoice before the Lord your God. you, your sons and daughters, your male and female slaves, and the Levite who is within your city gates, since he has no portion nor inheritance among you. Be careful not to offer your burnt offerings in all the sacred places you see. You must offer your burnt offerings only in the place the Lord chooses and one of your tribes, and there must do everything I command you, slaughtering animals to eat. But whatever you want, you may slaughter and eat meat within any of your city gates according to the blessings the Lord your God has given you. Those who are clean or unclean may eat it, as they would a gazelle or deer. But you must not eat the blood poured on the ground like water. Within your city gates, you may not eat the tenth of your grain, new wine, or fresh oil. The firstborn of your herd or flock, or any of your vow offerings, they pledge your freewill offerings, your personal contributions. You are to eat them in the presence of the Lord your God at the place the Lord your God chooses. You, your son, and the Levite who is within your city gates, rejoice before the Lord your God in everything you do, and be careful not to neglect the Levite as long as you live in your land. And the Lord your God enlarges your territory as he promised you, and you say, I want to eat meat because you have a strong desire to eat meat. You may eat it whenever you want. If the place where the Lord your God chooses to put his name is too far from you, may slaughter any of the herd or flock he has given you, as I have commanded you, and you may eat it within the city gates whenever you want. Indeed, you may eat it as the gazelle and deer are eaten. Both the clean and unclean may eat it. But don't eat the blood, since the blood is the life, and you must not eat the life with the meat. Do not eat blood. Pour it on the ground like water. Do not eat it so that you, your children after you will prosper, because you will be doing is right in the Lord's sight. But if you are to take the holy offerings you have in your vow offerings and go to the place the Lord chooses, present the meat and blood of your burnt offerings on the altar of the Lord your God, the blood of your other sacrifices to be poured out beside the altar of the Lord your God. But you may eat the meat. Be careful to obey all these things I have commanded you, so that you and your children after you may prosper forever, because you will be doing what is good and right in the sight of the Lord your God. When the Lord your God annihilates the nations before you, which are entering to take possession of, and you drive them out and live in their land, be careful not to be ensnared by their ways after they have been destroyed before you. Do not inquire about their gods, asking, how do these nations worship their gods? I will also do the same. You must not do the same to the Lord your God, because they practice every detestable act which the Lord hates for their gods. They even burn their sons and daughters in the fire to their gods. Be careful to do everything I command you, and not add anything to it or take anything away from it. Final chapter. The false prophet. If a prophet or someone has dreams arise among you and proclaims a sign or wonder to you, and that sign or wonder he has promised you comes about, but he says, let us follow other gods which you have not known. Let us worship them. Do not listen to the prophet's words or, or to that dreamer, for the Lord your God is testing you to know whether you love the Lord your God with all your heart and all yourself. You must follow the Lord your God and fear him. You must keep his commands and listen to him. You must worship him and remain faithful to him. That prophet or dreamer must be put to death, because he has urged rebellion against the Lord your God, who has brought you out of the land of Egypt and redeemed you from the place of slavery, to turn you from the way the Lord your God has commanded you to walk. You must purge the evil from you. Don't tolerate idolatry. If your brother, the son of your mother, or your son or daughter, or the wife you embrace, or the closest friend secretly entices you, saying, let us go and worship other gods, which neither you nor your fathers have known, any of the gods of the people around you, near or far from the one yield on earth to the other, do not yield him or listen to him. Show him no pity. You must not spare him or shield him. Instead, you must kill him. Your hand is to be the first against him to put him to death. Then the hands of all the people. Stone them to death for trying to turn away from the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the place of slavery. All Israel will hear and be afraid, and they will no longer do anything evil like this among you. If you hear it said about one of your cities, the Lord your God is giving to you to live in, that wicked man has sprung up among you, lead the inhabitants of their city astray, and said, let us go and worship other gods which you had not known. You are to inquire, investigate, interrogate thoroughly. If the report turns out to be true that the detestable act has been done among you, you must strike down the inhabitants of that city with the sword, completely destroy everything in it, as well as its livestock with the sword. To gather all the spoil in the middle of the city square and completely burn the city and all of its spoil for the Lord your God. The city is to remain a mound of ruins forever. It is not to be rebuilt. Nothing set apart for destruction is to remain in your hand, so that the Lord will turn from his burning anger and grant you mercy, show you compassion, and multiply you as he swore to your fathers. This will occur if you obey the Lord your God, keeping all his commands I am giving you today, doing what is right in the sight of the Lord your God. So that is all the reading for today. So it starts out in chapter 10, talking about the covenant renewed and how Moses was getting the second stone tablets because he destroyed the first ones after being angered about seeing them making the golden calf. So they made the second 10 commandments and then put them in the ark. And then what God requires and what he asked them to do, like the Levites and their inheritance and all that. Then it's talking about how they need to remember and obey the Lord and keep his mandates and statutes, all that. And then it goes on to blessing and the curse, where if they obey his commands, then there'll be a blessing, and if they don't, there'll be the curse. And where he'll put payment at, all that. And then it talks about the chosen place of worship. And then the animals are slaughtered to eat. It also talks about the false prophet and what to do and how to know if they're a false prophet or not. It says that the prophet kind of wakes up, says something about the Lord, but then they start saying let's follow other gods, and they're not a real prophet. They're supposed to be put to death and all that. And then how they're not supposed to tolerate idolatry. And so, yeah, that's all for today. There we go. So, hope you had a good day so far. Have a great rest of your day. Remember, God loves you.